Hi, welcome back to the Sounds Like Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Deborah Henne. I'm here today with Linker Sánchez, who is a musician, a songwriter, a producer, and a consultant in the music industry. Welcome, Linker Sánchez.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. You were on this show way back in the beginning when I was still kind of first learning what I was doing. Uh, So it's wonderful to have you back. Can you kind of refresh us again about your story and how you got kind of where you are today?
Sure. Well, I started learning music through YouTube. YouTube was my first teacher, and that was the instrument the Lord used, so I can fall in love with Him. Uh, I became a Christian through a song, and through learning music. That's how I started to just fall in love with God. I fall in love with music. Before God, music wasn't my thing. Like I really just didn't care at all about music, even though my dad was a singer. It was that's why I really feel that it's everything that I learned so far. It's because of God. It's really all the glory to Him. And then I started taking lessons in high school. Then I went to college, studied music, met some producers, and I started writing my own music. And then the pandemic hit, and I decided, hey, I can do it and do my music by myself. And then I started building my own studio here, and as you can see, I have instruments everywhere. I started writing because I used to every time that I needed to record, I used to go to my friends, the producers, and then through them I learned a lot of things. But because of the pandemic, I decided just to do it myself. And then I had some wonderful experiences with different people from church contacting me that they wanted to record. Um, thank uh, thank God, he because of the connections in church, the Lord has opened in different doors, so I could go to different churches and ministry in their churches, and fix their audio. Many times I go to their they invite me to churches just to fix audio or teach instruments. I do teach music too. Uh, in church and different churches. So it's a lot of things. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, and you know what? I just want to kind of pull out. You said that you fell in love with music, started to learn music, and got saved through YouTube.
Yes,
And as somebody who does some posting and whatnot, you don't really always know the impact that you're going to have. To me, that's just so encouraging to people out there who are seeking to reach people. Just be faithful with where you're at because you never know the impact that you're going to have on somebody. And even if it's one person, that one person is worth everything.
definitely, definitely. There was one time that it just comes to my mind. I was uploading some of my music, and sadly, sometimes we see numbers that we don't like, right?
Right, right.
We start looking at likes, views, and all that stuff, and I was like, Lord, is it worth it? Should I keep doing this? And within the same week, I received a message from one of my friends from middle school. I haven't seen the guy in forever. And then he texted me and he's like, dude, I was just listening to your music. And then I felt that I should start going to church. And then I started to go to church, and I got saved, and I just wanted to tell you. And I was like, whoa, Lord, that's awesome. And so the Lord was answering my prayer, and doing what the Lord does, which is just surprising us, and He's really cool.
Absolutely. And it's so true because sometimes, especially when you're starting out and you compare yourself to somebody who's like really big and famous, right? And you see all their numbers and you're like, oh, okay, I have like two people. They're probably my neighbors, or my
Yeah.
mom,
All my fake accounts.
and but you don't know the whole journey to get there either, right? So you see their numbers now, but you didn't see all the numbers when they were first starting and developing that endurance and staying faithful with where they're at. I think there's a lot to be said, not just in, getting to that point where you get those numbers if you're called into a public ministry, but just kind of saying, you know what, even if it is that one person that tuned in, that was a middle school friend, found my stuff and got saved. Like that's so incredible. Um, but yeah, so just never underestimate the power of just being faithful with what you are, with where you're at, and God
No.
can use it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you're going through, right? So you've gone through quite a journey here. You got saved on YouTube, through YouTube. You started learning. You started pressing into that more. What are some strategies that you've used to kind of keep walking in the freedom of Christ as you're pursuing the call that He has on you? And because sometimes He asks us to take those pretty big leaps of faith that we're like, okay, God,
Yeah.
you have to have this.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh, I feel that the story of Abraham has impacted me a lot because the Lord told him just to go on and find the promised land, and that's it. uh, he just did it, but he really didn't know where it was at, and he literally had to just grab that faith. And I was just reading this yesterday. It says that that faith was counted as justice, and it's really incredible because I never thought about it that way. But like sometimes it's just like, God, I'm just gonna do it, and then I'm just gonna hope the best. I'm in your hands, and I can trust that if I'm in your hands, you're gonna do whatever you want, even if in my eyes doesn't seem really impactful. Then later on, I will know that it was really impactful. For example, the with what happened to my friend, that I thought that I was just uploading and see what was happening, just to see what happened, but then the Lord shows me that a whole world was changed because obedience, and that has happened to me a lot of times where I'm like, God, should I really keep doing this? The Lord called me just to even I'm a worship pastor. That's my profession, but I was looking for other jobs that had nothing to do with music or the church, though everything that we do is for the Lord, right? But I needed the money. I was like, I need to maybe just look for something else. But while I was looking for other stuff, I really felt something in my heart that it was like, no, no, don't do that. And uh and 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 I looked for a job. I found a job, and then I was working at that job, but then I really felt like this is not the place. This is not, and it was an experience that it was bothering me like completely. I didn't have problems with nobody there, but like I just felt like the Lord was just moving me. Like, you're not supposed to be here right now, and I was like, all right, Lord, I'm just gonna trust you. I'm gonna trust you, and then I'm gonna quit this job, and then I just I need your plans. What do I have to do? I'm just gonna do music full time, do worship full time, and then the same day I was just praying that a little plan just came to my mind, and then I keep praying for weeks, that just keep praying like, Lord, I need your plans, I need your plans, and then the Lord started giving me like detailed plans that I should start doing in my music uh, uh, career, if we can call it that way. Uh, so it's really just grabbing the Lord and saying, Lord, teach me because I don't know what I'm doing. Please, I
Yeah.
need you. And then and then he starts opening doors.
Mhm.
Uh, you were one of those doors. and a couple other people too that they have called me just to help them to uh, write music, or either going to their churches, or learning instruments, or learning anything related to music. uh, and so the answer is the Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did mention that, we work together too. I was about to bring that up. And if you've been following me on social, you saw that I posted that, I have my first song, my debut song, Hallowed Be Your Name. Linker did help me
Woo!
produce that and kind of help push me a little bit in the direction of of getting out there. And let me tell you the story. Uh, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but that burn, that that all night worship about a year and a half ago that our church did, and Linker helped directs the youth worship at the church that I attend, and when the pastor asked, send out the sign up, and I got it. First of all, before I got it, God said, when you're asked to sign up, I want you to sign up for a slot. And I said, first of all, I'm not going to get asked. I sing backup, and I'm happy doing backup. I'm good. I'm happy there. And he said, when you get asked to sign up, I want you to sign up. So I got the email to sign up, and I thought it was a mistake, right? And I said, well, if this isn't a mistake, I'll take 3 to 5 a.m. because nobody's gonna be there, and the people who are there are probably gonna be sleeping. And so that's what happened. But you were in the back, and I saw you, and I have to tell you, I was terrified. I was like, I don't put myself out there. I'm not one of those, especially with music. Me putting myself out there in any way has been a very long, long, long journey. Um, of obedience and pushing through issues, fears and all kinds of stuff. And music has been a huge issue for me in my life with fear and insecurity. And so for me, it was a huge step to even sign up for 3 to 5 a.m. And then you offered to help me. You came out and you said something along the lines of, I think you did some of your own stuff in there. And I said, yeah, I did. And you said, if you want help getting out there, I'll help you. And that meant a lot to me. It really did. Um, and it took me a year and a half or so, a year, to work up the nerve and to be like, and I kind of argued with God. I said, God, I know you gave me these songs, but these are like a you and me thing, God. This is a you and me thing. I really love just singing these songs to you by myself in my room with the door closed, you know? And he said, no, I want you to share the songs. You need to share the songs. You need to be faithful to steward what I've given you. And so I said, okay. And that's when I reached out. I said, okay, let's do this. Let's do it. And then, you had your laptop there or MacBook or whatever it is that you use. And I said, I hope you have a lot of magic in there. But you did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
And I just, as somebody who, had a lot to learn and is still learning a lot in this area, your coaching was just so amazing and so good, and you helped me get to where I didn't think I could ever be. So,
Oh, thank you. You were great to work with too.
oh, that's good.
Yeah,
But
no, it was really easy. I think it's because of the friendship that we have, or it's the Lord. But it was really easy, and I had a blast uh, recording instruments, and the voice too, and then listening to the song. Uh, it was just a blast for me as well. Just planning a bunch of ideas. Maybe I should do this with the piano. Maybe I can add this, and it was just a really fun experience. Thank you for allowing me to be part of that experience.
it was a lot of fun, and I was telling you, as we were recording and as we were thinking through instruments and sounds and musical textures and things like that, and what to put in there. That's a whole new skill set, because sometimes I hear things, but I don't have the skills to actually pull it off. So then to communicate that to somebody else was a whole new skill set. And I was like, so you're gonna have to decipher code, and just kind of like making almost sound effects rather than articulating this instrument with this. But you did a great job.
Thank you.
I almost felt really silly sometimes, like, um, yeah.
Thank
But
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it helps a lot. I was remember that you were telling me about the rain that you wanted for the song, that it's in the beginning of the song.
mhm.
And you were telling me like I need the sound shh.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
that helps a lot. Like sometimes it's easier for me just to maybe if you're just imitating the sound just to all right, so I think it's this type of rain because I remember that you wanted the stick but I didn't find a good sound for that. So I was like, maybe some actual rain will sound cool.
Mhm.
And at the end, you liked it, and I'm just glad with that.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love how you have the rain that starts, and then the deep the strings that come in. Because I said what I really wanted was to get people to that still, quiet place where they can just really take in God and just really posture themselves to be in the presence of the Lord and to hear his names and to go through not all of the names from the scriptures, but several of them, going through them and just feeling the power in them and just kind of aligning with that. Say, yeah, God, you are my healer. Yeah, God, you are my peace. Yes, God, you are always with me, and you always are. You are. You were, you are, and you ever will be. Just kind of all those, the nature of the Lord, as much as we can begin to encapsulate it in human language, which is, I'm convinced is impossible. but, but yeah, just kind of getting people to that place. And you really did a great job with the song, which is available on all the platforms, right? Pandora,
Everywhere, Apple
Spotify.
Music, uh,
Mhm.
whatever you listen to music, it should be there. Spotify, Amazon Music. I don't know if I mentioned, just all of them. TikTok and just everywhere.
Yeah. So, and I think you can find it. The way I found it was "Hallowed Be Your Name, Deborah Henne." Because when I went just by "Hallowed Be Your Name," there's actually quite a few out there with the same title, which I know can happen. With music, with books, titles can get duplicated. But yeah, but it's out there. And this is the guy that helped make a dream, I guess. For me, I don't know if it was really a dream to put it out there, but um, God's dream for my life.
Yeah,
That next step.
definitely. Whenever the Lord gives us songs or like really anything, a word or poem, art, it could be anything. If it comes from the Lord, I really feel that we gotta share it. We never know who's gonna impact or what's gonna be the impact of that, because we are
Mhm.
called to use our talents, use our gifts. The Bible verse that or the story that comes to my mind is the story of the talents, and I know that it talks about money, but in there the word that we use in Spanish and in English is talents, and
Mhm.
I really love that for some of them it was for one of them it was given a one talent, for other one five. So the way that I see it is so the one that he has one he hid it, he hid that his talent, and he didn't want to do nothing. But then at the end the Lord says no, you have to use those talents.
Mhm.
So and it all also works with money, but because it might be a talent to have money, I don't know. It might be. But for any talent that the Lord gives us, it's like, all right, Lord, so I'm gonna use whatever you give me and then do what you want. And that's when we see, I think that's when we find maybe our purpose sometimes.
Mhm.
For those that are struggling with what should I do? Like sometimes just do the things that you like if you see that they're a blessing for others. Start
Yeah.
sharing them or serve. with them, and the Lord will do things. But the thing that impacted me from that story is that the Lord doesn't want us just to hide them. As you were saying, like, Lord, this is just for me and you, but the Lord
Yeah.
is like, but I have a bigger plan.
Right. Right.
And we never know who's gonna hear that song. I shared this with you one time. Last year, I was looking or the places where my music was listening the most, and it really impacted me that it was on Israel, one of the countries. I was like,
Mhm.
but they're in Spanish and English. How is that there? How is that people in Israel are listening to them? But we never know, and that's the beauty of God, that we don't know. One day in heaven, I will ask him, like, who who listened to it, God, or
Yeah.
it's gonna be really
Yeah.
fun. So please keep sharing your music. I love the music. I love to hear it too. It ministers my life. So please keep sharing that music and
Thank
everybody
you.
else.
Thank you. I plan on it. It was
Yeah.
so I was like, it was so fun and such a good learning experience. I came out of it and I was like, can't wait to do the next one. but but yeah, but everything, in time as the Lord brings it. And but yeah, but I love how you said, if you're struggling with your purpose, just start with where you're at. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to have necessarily that long range 20-year vision plan. Just start where you're at with what you got and use it to serve and see what God does with it. You never
Mhm.
know what he's going to do with it. You don't know the doors that are going to open with it. And I mean, for me as a visionary person, sometimes God gives me the 20-year vision, and I don't even know where to begin. It's like, okay, I'm back here, and I see that, and it is impossible, 100% impossible for me to get there. So God, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And but still the same thing. Start with what you got, with where you're at, and be faithful,
Yeah.
and recognize that all the glory goes to God, and it's all for God and through God and for Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things I love about your heart. It's always like, yep, I'm taking the talents that I have that are from God, and I'm giving them back to.
Yeah.
It's all for Him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's where we really find value, I think. Uh, the praises of people, they're fun, but whenever you really feel that I did something that God asked me to do, it's like,
Hmm.
like that meaning of life really comes
Yeah.
to life. Uh, it
Hmm.
happened to me while I was playing one time I was just playing in they invited me in somewhere in a church, but then I was just worshiping the Lord, and just it was just me and the Lord. Yeah, there were people there, but I was just like, God, this is for you. And then it just really, I just you feel that conviction of the Lord is this is the mean this is why you're here, and it's just I don't know, it just fulfills your life, and you're like, all right, so this is why I was born, just born to serve the Lord, and He brings meaning to our lives, which is
Absolutely.
cool.
I 100% agree that, when you take the way you're wired, give it back to God, recognize that it's from God, and you say, okay, God, I'm doing this, I'm doing it for you. And He might need a course correct here or there for sure, and He'll open those doors, He'll close others. But there's nothing like going with the presence of God. And you're right, there's so much fulfillment in that, even if it's not maybe what you originally thought. But if you go with the presence, there's victory, and both in what you're doing, even if it may not look how you thought originally, and victory inside, because there's there's so much fulfillment and power in being who and what God called you to be. Right. Absolutely. So people can find you on social media, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, if they search Linker Sánchez.
Yes.
That's awesome. And again, you do music lessons, you do worship consulting, audio consulting, You write your own music. You can check out his music on all those platforms too: Pandora, Amazon, Apple, Spotify,
Spotify.
YouTube, all those platforms. You can check out his music, and he has his other services available too, the consulting and the production as well. If that's something that God has put on your heart and you're a songwriter and you're like, I don't know, trust me, if he can take me and make uh, something that people will enjoy listening to and be ministered to, he can do it for you too.
Thank you.
So just
Yes.
don't let an insecurity hold you back. Go for it and share what the Lord has given you. So don't
Yes.
forget to swipe, tap, or click over to deborahhenne.com. Follow me on social on the X, Instagram, or Facebook at Deborah Henne Author. And let's not forget to tune into our thoughts to make sure they sound like Jesus's, so they sound like freedom.